Severe thunderstorms in Queensland and developing Coral Sea, tropical low, severe weather warnings across Queensland. Heavy rain, strong winds, flash flooding possible. That's what we're re-looking at over the next several days. And if you've been dealing with the humidity and heat this week, you're about to understand why that pattern S been building. I've examined the latest data from the Bureau of Meteorology, compared multiple forecast models and analysed the synoptic setup. This is a significant weather event that deserves your attention, particularly if you are in southeast Queensland or further north into the tropics. Let's start with where we are right now, because understanding the current situation is critical to understanding what is coming. Right now, across Queensland, conditions have been hot and sticky. Brisbane hit 38 degrees this arvo, with humidity making it feel even worse. That warm, moist air mass has been parked over the state all week. Up in Townsville, it's been overcast with that oppressive humidity that makes it hard to breathe. Mount Carbine in far north Queensland reported 34 degrees at 11 a.m. with 80% humidity. The heat has been intense. Compare that to further south. New South Wales has been relatively mild. Tasmania saw -2 this morning with frost across parts of the state. That temperature contrast across the country is massive, and it's about to play a major role in what develops over the next few days. The meteorological setup is this. We have a surface trough extending through inland Queensland. That trough is drawing in tropical moisture from the Coral Sea. At the same time, we've got an upper level trough approaching from the west. When these two systems interact, we get instability, significant instability. The Coral Sea is where things get particularly interesting. Sea surface temperatures are running above average. We're re-seeing a tropical low developing in the Coral Sea, and this system has the potential to intensify over the coming days. Now, I am not saying this will definitely become a tropical cyclone, but the conditions are favourable for development. The Bureau of Meteorology is monitoring this closely. Let me break down what the forecast models are showing, because there is some agreement but also some uncertainty we need to discuss. The Access model, that the Bureau S main forecast model, is showing the tropical low moving westward toward the Queensland coast. It brings the system close to the coast around the middle of next week. The European model shows a similar track, but slightly further south. The GFS model is a bit more aggressive, bringing the system onshore earlier. What does this mean practically? It means we have reasonable confidence that a significant weather system will affect Queensland, but the exact timing and location of the heaviest impacts are still being refined. This is why you need to keep monitoring updates from the Bureau over the next few days. The immediate threat, before that tropical low even arrives, is severe thunderstorms. And we're not talking about your typical afternoon storms. These are organised, dangerous storms with the potential for large hail, damaging winds and flash flooding. The severe thunderstorm setup works like this. That tropical moisture I mentioned, combined with daytime heating and the upper level trough, creates an environment perfect for supercell development. We're re-looking at significant wind shear, high moisture content and strong instability. That's the recipe for severe weather. Southeast Queensland is in the firing line today and tomorrow. Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, the storms will likely develop inland during the afternoon, then move toward the coast during the evening. Timing is critical here. If you're recommuting home from work, you could be driving straight into severe weather. The specific threats from these thunderstorms: hail up to 5 centimetres in diameter. That's golf ball sized hail capable of damaging vehicles, breaking windows, destroying crops. Wind gusts up to 110 kilometres per hour, strong enough to bring down trees and power lines. And flash flooding. When you get intense rainfall rates over already saturated ground, the water has nowhere to go. I've seen footage of recent flooding across central Queensland. Blackwater has been particularly particularly hard hit. Water so high you wouldn't know there was a wall there, let alone a road. Roads completely submerged. Creek crossings impassable. The Calliope River has been running high with fresh water still coming down. Gladstone received 185 millimetres over 4 days. That's a fair bit of rain in a short period. Many of you remember the 2011 Queensland floods. Brisbane and Toowoomba, 35 people lost their lives, tens of thousands of homes flooded. The economic damage ran into billions. This current system 1T reached those catastrophic levels, but it's a reminder that Queensland flooding is serious business. The ground is already saturated in many areas. Any additional heavy rain increases the flood risk. The concern moving forward is rainfall accumulation. Over the next week, some areas of Queensland could see 200 to 300 millimetres of rain. In localised areas with repeated thunderstorm activity, totals could exceed 400 millimetres. That is not evenly distributed. Some places will get flooded, others will miss out entirely. That is the nature of thunderstorm activity. For those in far north Queensland, particularly around Cairns and the Tablelands, you are watching this tropical low development closely. If this system does intensify and track toward the coast, you could be looking at cyclone preparations. Now, we're not there yet, but it is worth thinking about your cyclone plan now rather than waiting until the last minute. Cyclone season in Queensland runs from November through April. We rewrite in the peak period. You've been through this before. Many of you remember Cyclone Yasi in 2011, Category 5 system that crossed the coast near Mission Beach, winds up to 285 kilometres per hour, widespread devastation, or Cyclone Larry in 2006, destroyed much of Innisfail. These are the benchmark events that shape how we prepare. This developing system is nowhere near those intensities yet. But the ocean temperatures are conducive to intensification. The Coral Sea is running warm. That S fuel for tropical systems. The atmospheric conditions show moderate wind shear, which can inhibit development, but that shear is forecast to decrease over the next few days. What I'm saying is this: don't panic, but pay attention. Monitor the Bureau of Meteorology updates daily. If you're in a cyclone-prone area and you've been putting off securing loose items around the property, do it now. Stock up on essentials before everyone else rushes to the shops. Make sure your emergency kit is ready. Batteries, torches, first aid supplies, medications, important documents in waterproof containers. Let me talk specifically about different regions and what you should be focusing on. Southeast Queensland. Your immediate concern is severe thunderstorms. This afternoon and evening, then again tomorrow. The storms will be hit and miss, but where they do hit, they'll be intense. If you see a severe thunderstorm warning issued by the Bureau, take it seriously. Move vehicles under cover if possible. Bring in outdoor furniture. Secure trampolines. Stay indoors during the storm. Flash flooding is a real risk. If it's flooded, forget it. That's the SES slogan, and it exists for good reason. Never drive through floodwater. You cannot see the road surface. You don't know if the road is still there. Water depth is deceptive. It only takes about 60 centimetres of water to float most vehicles. Fast flowing water can sweep you away. Wide Bay and Central Queensland. UV already copped heavy rain. The ground is saturated. Rivers are high. Any additional rain will cause rapid rises. The Burnett River, Boyne River, Calliope River, these systems are already elevated. Monitor the Bureau S flood warnings. If you near a river, understand your flood risk. Know how high the water needs to be before it affects your property. Have an evacuation plan. North Queensland and far North Queensland, your focus is on that developing tropical low. Over the next few days, we'll get better clarity on whether this intensifies into a cyclone and what track it takes. Townsville, Cairns, the Tablelands, you know the drill. If cyclone warnings are issued, you will have time to prepare, but use that time wisely. For those in remote areas, particularly around the Gulf Country and Cape York, you can become isolated very quickly when the wet season kicks in. Roads cut by flooding, creeks impassable. If you're replanning travel over the next week, reconsider. If you must travel, carry extra supplies. Tell someone your route and expected arrival time. Carry a satellite phone if possible. I want to address the humidity because many of you have mentioned how oppressive it's been. That humidity is a direct result of the tropical air mass over Queensland. Dew points have been in the mid to high 20s. That is uncomfortable. It makes the apparent temperature feel much higher than the actual temperature. It makes sleeping difficult. It affects your ability to work outdoors. The good news is that when this weather system moves through and we get a wind change, that humidity will decrease. The bad news is you have to get through the severe weather first. The humid conditions are actually part of what is fueling the storm development. High moisture content means more energy available for thunderstorms. Some practical advice. If you're dealing with condensation inside your house, running the air conditioning helps. Mopping floors multiple times because they re-wet from condensation. That is frustrating, but it is a symptom of the high humidity. Dehumidifiers can help if you have them. Opening windows when the humidity is lower, usually early morning, can help air out the house. For those working outdoors, take the heat seriously. Hydrate properly. Not just water, you need electrolytes. Take breaks in the shade. Watch for signs of heat stress in yourself and your mates. Dizziness, nausea, confusion. Heat exhaustion can progress to heat stroke quickly. Check on elderly neighbours. They are more vulnerable to heat-related illness. Livestock management is important during these conditions. Make sure animals have access to shade and plenty of water. Heat stress in cattle and other livestock is a real concern. If you are in an area expecting heavy rain and potential flooding, move stock to higher ground now before the water rises. The severe weather also brings risks of power outages. Storms with damaging winds can bring down power lines. If you lose power, do you have a backup plan? If you on tank water with an electric pump, consider filling bathtubs and containers with clean water before the storms hit. Gives you water for drinking and flushing if the power goes out. Charge your devices now. Mobile phones, laptops, battery banks. If the power does go out, you will want communication capability. Make sure you have the ABC local radio frequencies saved. During severe weather, local radio provides critical updates. I know some of you in Logan City have been saying you are missing the rain. You haven't had much for ages. The irony of weather forecasting is that rain distribution is never even. Some areas get flooded while others stay dry. This upcoming system should spread rain more widely across southeast Queensland, but there's no guarantee every location gets what they need. For those asking about live storm coverage, I understand the interest. When significant severe weather develops, particularly supercells with large hail or destructive winds, live coverage helps people make informed decisions. The challenge is that severe weather doesn't always cooperate with scheduling. Storms develop rapidly. By the time you reset up for live coverage, the storm has moved or weakened. What I can tell you is this. If severe thunderstorms develop tomorrow across New South Wales and eastern Victoria as forecast, those systems could be significant. The other week, confirmed 8 centimetre hail fell near Burrell. Wind gusts up to 109 kilometres per hour along the Illawarra coast. Those were monster storms. If similar conditions develop, that is when live coverage becomes valuable. The Bureau of Meteorology does an excellent job with warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings are issued when storms are detected and meet severe criteria. Those warnings are specific about the threat, the affected area and the expected timing. Download the Bomb Weather app. Enable notifications. When a warning is issued for your area, you'll get it immediately. I want to address the forecast uncertainty around the tropical low because honesty about uncertainty is important. Weather forecasting is not an exact science. We're dealing with chaotic atmospheric systems. Small changes in conditions can lead to significantly different outcomes. The tropical low in the Coral Sea could intensify into a cyclone, or it might not. It could track toward the Queensland coast, or it could curve away to the southeast. It could bring widespread heavy rain and strong winds, or it could weaken before making landfall. We're done to know yet. What we do know is that the conditions favour development. We know that the system will bring increased rainfall regardless of whether it reaches cyclone intensity. We know that Queensland needs to be prepared for a range of possible outcomes. This is why I emphasise monitoring updates. The forecast will be refined over the next few days as we get better data. The Bureau runs multiple forecast models multiple times per day. Each new model run gives us better information. By the weekend, we'll have much more clarity. Some of you have asked about long-range forecasting and whether climate patterns like El Niño or La Niña are affecting this. Currently, we read in neutral conditions. Neither El Niño nor La Niña is dominant. The Indian Ocean dipole is also neutral. This means we read not seeing the strong climate drivers that can influence seasonal rainfall patterns. What we are seeing is above average sea surface temperatures in the Coral Sea. That S being a consistent pattern this season. Warmer ocean temperatures provide more energy for tropical systems. It is one reason why this cyclone season has the potential to be active. Historically, Queensland has seen devastating cyclones. Cyclone Tracy destroyed Darwin on Christmas Eve 1974. Winds up to 217 kilometres per hour. The city was flattened, 71 people died. It remains the most destructive cyclone in Australian history. That was a small but intense system that intensified rapidly just before landfall. More recently, Cyclone Yassi in 2011 was a massive Category 5 system. The eye was 35 kilometres across. The destructive winds extended 200 kilometres from the centre. Towns like Tully, Mission Beach, Cardwell were devastated. Banana crops were destroyed. The economic impact ran into billions. This current tropical low is not forecast to reach those intensities, but it's a reminder that Queensland cyclones are serious. Preparation is not optional. If you re in a cyclone-prone area and you don't have a cyclone plan, make one now. Know your zone. Know whether you need to evacuate or shelter in place. Know where the nearest evacuation centre is. For those in caravans or relocatable homes, understand that these structures are not cyclone safe. If a cyclone warning is issued, you need to relocate to solid shelter. Local councils and emergency services will open evacuation centres. Don't wait until the last minute. The bushfire situation is also worth mentioning briefly. While Queensland is dealing with wet weather, parts of southern Australia are dealing with fire danger. It's a reminder of how diverse Australian weather is. You can have flooding in the north and fire danger in the south simultaneously. For those in fire-affected areas or areas with elevated fire danger, completely different preparations are needed. Know your fire danger rating. On total fire ban days, no fires whatsoever. That includes using power tools in the bush, activities that create sparks. If you re-in a bushfire-prone area, leaving early is always the safest option. Don't wait and see. Properties can be rebuilt, lives cannot. Looking at the extended forecast, beyond this immediate severe weather period and the tropical low development, Queensland is likely to see an active period. The monsoon trough is positioning itself across northern Australia. That S typical for this time of year. It brings widespread rainfall, thunderstorms, and the potential for multiple tropical lows to develop. For farmers and graziers, this is both good and challenging news. The rain is needed, pastures need it, dams need it, but too much rain too quickly creates problems. Flooding, waterlogged paddocks, stock getting bogged, disease pressure increases in humid conditions. The advice is to monitor conditions daily, move stock proactively rather than reactively, check fences and infrastructure before the heavy weather arrives. Once it's flooded, you can access paddocks to do repairs. For coastal communities, particularly in far north Queensland, the combination of heavy rain, king tides and potential storm surge if a cyclone develops creates compound flooding risks. You get flooding from the rain, then you get coastal inundation from the storm surge. This is why cyclone categories are important. The category tells you the wind strength, but it doesn't fully convey the storm surge risk. Cyclone Yassi, even though it crossed the coast at low tide, still produced a storm surge of several metres. If it had hit at high tide, the coastal flooding would have been catastrophic. This is why evacuation orders are issued for low-lying coastal areas. Storm surge is often the deadliest aspect of tropical cyclones. I know many of you lived through these events. You remember the preparation, the fear, the aftermath. That experience is valuable. Don't dismiss your instincts. If something feels wrong, if you feel you should evacuate, do it. Better to leave and not need to than to stay and regret it. For those newer to Queensland, particularly particularly in cyclone-prone areas. Talk to your neighbours. The old-timers have been through multiple cyclones. They know what works. They know the local risk areas. They know how high the water gets. That local knowledge is invaluable. As we head into the weekend and early next week, the key message is this: stay informed. Check the Bureau of Meteorology website and app regularly. Monitor warnings. Have your emergency supplies ready. Know your risks. Know your plan. This is a significant weather event unfolding. It deserves your attention, but it's not cause for panic. Queensland has dealt with severe weather before. You know what to do. Just make sure you do it. I'll be monitoring this situation closely and providing updates as new information becomes available. The forecast will change as we get better data. That S, normal. Don't be alarmed if tomorrow S forecast looks different from today S. We're re-refining the details as the situation develops. For those asking specific questions about their local area, the best source is the Bureau of Meteorology S District forecasts. They break down the state into smaller forecast districts and provide specific information for each area, much more detailed than I can provide in a broad overview. Right. That is the situation as it stands. Severe thunderstorms today and tomorrow across southeast Queensland, heavy rain continuing across central Queensland, a tropical low developing in the Coral Sea with potential to intensify. Keep your eyes on the forecasts. Keep your preparations